Welcome to a very quick tutorial on basic editing for Adobe After Effects CS4 Pro Edition, but any edition will pretty much work the same way. I am going to cover how to edit templates that you can either download for free off the internet or buy. I will go over the basics that you'll need to know to edit templates. The first one will be how to edit the text in a template. The next one will be how to add pictures or videos to the template. How to render the template out as any type of file you want, so an AVI, WAV, MPEG. And then finally, I will go to a more complex template with many pictures and many texts and show you how to apply all of that into a larger file. So what I have here is a very basic template that I got from planettap.com. Just don't want to face any copyright issues by using their videos, so I'm leaving the watermark on their file. Generally, what you do is you'd remove the watermark. You can see my cursor is highlighted. I'm clicking on the watermark. Usually you just press delete and it'll get rid of the watermark, but I'm going to leave it there. Alright, first things first, let's just show how to add images to an After Effects file. So just very basic images. There's only one image in this entire file, and that would be the background. This red fiery type stuff. So I'm going to teach you how to change it, and then teach you how to change the text, and then I'll teach you how to render it out. So in order to change the background for a more basic template, over down here to the left where you see background, where my cursor is highlighted at, it's not necessarily going to show up on the screen in your little preview window, but if you double click it, it'll show up. And by double clicking it, you'll add a new tab somewhere over here that'll take you to all the different sections of the After Effects file that you recently clicked on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the images that are present in the background, and I will import my own image. I'll just find any random image I can find. This works fine. Basically, what you want to do after this is you want to take this image and you want to drag it and you want to drop it right into where you want it to be. Now this image is larger than the actual screen size. I'll just go ahead and resize it by hand. The old drag and drop method. Of course, you might want to aspect ratio it out properly and just make sure it fits the boxes so nothing gets cut off. If you're doing video, one extra tip would be to if you're doing segments of video clips, make sure the video clip is always about 3 or 4 seconds longer than necessary, just to ensure that nothing really cuts off. So all you'd really do is position that, and you can go back to your final comp thing here, and as you start going, the image is now present inside the file instead of the old background. Now, let's move on to the text. There's a text layer that you can find. It's labeled by, generally it's named properly here. And what we're going to do is we're going to double click on the replace text here. We're going to click on the place text. Sometimes it doesn't always take. You may need to double click. And then you just delete it, backspace, delete, and you can write whatever you want. Sample. Yeah, that works fine for me. You can go ahead and center that. And then, of course, right here to your right, you can change your different fonts. You might want to have it highlighted. You can change your different fonts, the different styles if your font comes with it. You can change your font size. I just made that much smaller than necessary. Alignments. Here's how far the letters are spaced apart. Basically, those are just things you can play with once you have everything done and ready. So of course, then you can go back to your final comp, and of course your new text will appear instead of the old text. That's sort of how my animation looks. So now, here is the fun part that I generally tend to get wrong a lot, is how do you render out this file? Now, most people, what they'll do is they'll go to composition, and they'll hit make movie. You don't have, you're doing it wrong. You don't have to preview it as anything. If you want, you can pre-render. It won't necessarily save you any time. It'll just make your animation run faster through your preview here. What you want to do is you want to add to render queue, and it'll take you to this tab of render queue. So now there's two things you have to worry about. You have your render settings over here and your output module over here. Now your render settings are going to be the quality. You want best. You always want best. And your resolution, full, half, third, quarter, and then full resolution would of course be the size, 920 by 1080. Nothing else you really have to specifically change for this. If you want to change from what part it starts to render and how long it renders for, so let's say you want to start at a 5-minute mark instead of at the beginning, you can change it through here, and you can see how long it'll start and end, and this will just tell you how long it'll take. Length of composition, that generally works. Okay. Now, your output module is where it's going to be output to. So this is where you'd get your formats. So right over here, you have your different formats you can choose from. A quick notice, video for Windows is an AVI. You will not find AVI on this list. The video for Windows is the AVI format. And then, of course, you can go through the giant list, H.264, MPEGs, Windows Media Files, WAV files. You can all choose from here. And then, of course, you have your channels, RGB, alpha, blah, 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 blah. You have your different depths. I'd say go with millions of colors. Color, pre-multiplied, matted. Keep it that way. You won't necessarily have to find anything else. Here, if you want, you can hit stretch, and it'll stretch a video to a specific size. So let's say your video isn't at 920 by 1080. You can either shrink it or stretch it to match what you need, or you can crop it. You can crop a certain amount of size. Cool. And then, all you really have to do is hit render. Oh, here where it says output to. Here's where you can choose where it's going to get output to. You can save it anywhere. Here's where you can change the name. Also, yeah, so just name it whatever you want. And then you have just to hit render. And then it'll continue to render. Really long videos and high quality videos are going to take a long time to render. And the better your computer is, the shorter it will take. Generally, if you have 20 seconds of video to render, it'll take 5 minutes, and it'll just scale up from there. So I'll stop rendering from there. Now, let's apply this to a more complex file. What happens when you download one of those nice, giant, expensive files from the nice Muslim man who makes these, who makes a lot of templates? Well, let's go with that. I'll go to my untitled project. This is just a sample I was playing around, so I just saved it as anything else. Okay, that's great. Now this is a much more complex template. You get a whole bunch of different animations here. Your different compositions, main 1, main 2, main 3, and main 4. You can see them as brown bars here. And then you have backgrounds and different sounds that the designer of the template added. Then you can just scroll down and see all the different things they have there. They have background sound running through a lot of it. Okay, so what I want to work with is main 3. This is just the specific composition I chose because it'll be easiest for me to show you how to change words and text. So right over here, you'll have your main composition 3. Now over to your left, you get this giant set of folders and files. This is your main sort of directory that you're going to be working from. For more complex files, you'll be working from here rather than from here. So this is your main composition 3. I'll just close all these folders to show you how to get there right away. This is the entire directory for your file. You'll want to go to main comps, and of course your main 3. And that'll just basically take you to this. Now what you really want to work with right now is replace photo video here. Most of the more complex templates you'll have are very easy to edit, and they'll just tell you pretty much where to go and make things very self-explanatory. So here is your folder, replace photo video here. And then you have your different subfolders for replacing the photos and videos in main 1, main composition 2, main composition 3, and main composition 4. I said I'll be working with main 3, so I'll open up the folder for main 3. And then they'll give you all of this. Replace photo video 1. So that would be the first clip you see. And then of course, replace photo video 2, and then 3. I'll just go ahead and replace photo video 1. So I'll go ahead and I'll double click on replace photo video 1. I'll go ahead and delete the file I have there, and then you can file import just about anything you want in there again. I'll replace it with this. I'll drag it, I'll drop it. I'm not going to resize it. This is just a sample. Of course, you would generally go off and resize it. Then you can go back to your main 1. As you can see over here, my cursor is highlighted, so I'm hoping you guys can follow. Your final composition. And as you can see, the picture I had before is now replaced by the picture of my bike. This would work the same way for video files. All you gotta do is delete the old video file present, drag and drop your new video file, and size it as you want. Once again, make it a couple of seconds longer than it needs to be, just so when that box gets disappeared closer to a corner, it doesn't turn black on you somewhere here just because it's already off the screen. Let's go to replacing text in more complex files. It works pretty much the same way. You have a nice folder right here that says replace text here, and then you can replace text 1 here. Oh wow, that's not split up into different subfolders. So I'll just find the one I had before. Oh God. Okay, so this one. So I'll just go ahead, double click it, of course highlight it. I'll just change it to sample text. I'll change the font. Let's go with Jazz. No, that you can't even read what that is. Maestro. Really? Jesus. Okay, let's go with that. Here, I'll just resize it for you guys just to show you where it works. Over here, you can drag it, you can click it, you can change it, there's a drop-down list. There's many different ways to do it. Let's say you want to split, let's say you want to change how far away the letters are from each other. You can even make them backwards. Wow, did not know that. Here you can split them apart really far. And then of course if you have more lines of text, you can control how high or low they are above the next text. So I'll just leave that as is. I'll go back to I'll close some of my recently worked tabs here because there's a lot of them. And I'll just go back to my final, And as you can see, my new text is there rather than my old text, and my new picture that is there. And of course, once you're done editing the file, you just go to Composition, Add to Render Queue, and you'd go ahead and hit Render. Wow. This file would take you 1 hour and 11 minutes to render if you have the same power that my computer has, which is a nice graphics card to it. Alright, I hope that's enough. If you need any more information, send me an email, leave a comment, and I will make another video. The reason I made this video is for my brother. He got a job in Texas, working for the School Board of Education, and he'll be editing a few templates. And he's a great video editor, but he doesn't like to do it either way. Congratulations.